Hi, I'm Brad Hennings with Chisholm Chisholm Kilpatrick. Before joining the firm, I served as a veterans law judge at the Board of Veterans Appeals. Here's a situation we see all the time. A veteran files for TDIU, or total disability based on individual unemployability. Then a VA examiner writes that the veteran can still handle sedentary work, like office jobs. So VA denies the TDIU claim. If that has happened to you, it's not the end of the road. TDIU comes from 38 CFR 4.16, which is a federal regulation that says VA must pay you at the 100% rate when your service-connected conditions leave you unable to secure or follow a substantially gainful occupation. In plain terms, if your disabilities keep you from holding a steady job that pays you above the poverty level, you are considered totally disabled, no matter what your actual rating is. However, federal regulations do not provide much guidance beyond that. So what happens if an examiner sits in a C&P exam with you, listens to your story, reads your file, and then tells you or the VA that, in their opinion, you can still find work somehow? An examiner might be the closest that you get to having a direct conversation with a person at VA about your case. So having an examiner say that can be demoralizing. It shouldn't be. Let's start with the part many veterans don't know. When an examiner says you can find work or says you can work, that opinion is not the final word. In Geib versus Shinseki, or Geib versus Shinseki, the Federal Circuit made it clear that the VA's adjudicator decides whether TDIU applies, not the medical examiner. The examiner describes what limitations your body has. Whether you can actually get and keep a job is a separate legal question. And that question has to be answered in the real world, not just on paper. VA is required to look at your education, your training, and your past work. Let's say you have a high school education, 20 years of experience performing physical labor, and chronic pain that never lets up. Your C&P examiner writes you could still do a desk job. But if you've never done office work, have no training for it, and live with daily pain, sedentary work can be a job you will never realistically get or hold. The law requires VA to weigh that whole picture, not one line in an exam report. Here's the other thing that veterans often don't know about: vocational experts. A vocational expert is a professional who evaluates employability. They take your specific background, skills, and limitations and assess what work, if any, you can truly perform. VA is not required to obtain one, but you are allowed to submit a vocational expert's opinion as evidence. A well-supported report answers the question the medical examiner could not, and VA is required to take relevant expert evidence into account. In short, if VA denied your TDIU claim because an examiner said you can still work, do not assume that decision is correct. You may have solid grounds to appeal. At CCK Law, we help veterans pursue TDIU appeals, including countering bad C&P exams and arranging accurate vocational evidence.